If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. It's been a roller coaster offseason for Cleveland Browns star Myles Garrett, and now it's taken an emotional turn that hits deeper than contract numbers or stats on a sheet. After initially shocking the NFL world by requesting a trade earlier this year, Garrett eventually recommitted to the franchise that drafted him, signing a massive extension to remain the defensive cornerstone of the Browns. But just when it seemed like things were stabilizing in Cleveland, the departure of longtime teammate Nick Chubb threw another emotional wrench into Garrett's year. Chubb, a fan favorite and one of the league's most respected backs, is heading to Houston, and Garrett isn't hiding how much that move stings. Speaking openly at mandatory minicamp, Garrett didn't hold back. He shared that he personally lobbied the front office, including direct conversations with general manager Andrew Berry, to bring Chubb back for another run. It was raw, it was real, and it showed just how much Chubb meant inside that locker room. For Garrett, it wasn't just about losing a productive player. It was about losing a brother in arms, someone who had been there through the highs and lows of Cleveland's recent journey. Since entering the league together, the duo helped anchor a cultural shift within the Browns, bringing leadership and identity to a franchise that desperately needed both. Garrett's lobbying effort wasn't a strategic play or a business decision. It was a heartfelt plea to keep a piece of the team's soul intact. He knew that Chubb was more than just a running back. He was a stabilizing force, a quiet leader whose work ethic spoke louder than words. Garrett acknowledged that during his talk with the media, making it clear that Chubb's departure wasn't just a roster move, it was a cultural shift. That hurt more than most fans realize. You could hear the weight in Garrett's voice, the heaviness of losing someone he truly respected, not just professionally, but personally. But here's the other side of the story, the part Garrett, like any passionate teammate, understandably struggled to accept. Nick Chubb, as beloved and accomplished as he's been, is not the same player who once tore through defenses with unmatched power and precision. At 29, coming off a brutal knee injury from September 2023 and then a broken foot just months later in December, the physical toll has clearly caught up. He appeared in just 8 games last season, managing 332 yards and 3 touchdowns at an average of just 3.3 yards per carry. That's a far cry from the dominant force fans we're used to seeing in the backfield, while Garrett wanted to believe. There was still gas in the tank. The harsh reality is that Chubb's days as a feature back may be behind him. And when the numbers no longer support the sentiment, NFL teams, even ones with emotional ties, are forced to make hard decisions. That's exactly what Cleveland did. The Browns, knowing the limitations that now surrounded Chubb, opted to draft 2 new running backs, signaling a clear shift toward the future. It was less a betrayal and more an inevitability. The NFL is a business of youth, durability, and potential. As much as loyalty and history matter in a locker room, the cold calculations of roster construction rarely allow for sentimentality. Garrett, despite his influence and tenure, found himself powerless against that tide. The front office saw the writing on the wall and acted accordingly. From a strategic standpoint, it made perfect sense. Yet for Garrett, who had anchored his offseason hopes in the possibility of one more campaign with Chubb at his side, the move felt personal. In fairness to the Browns front office, they gave Chubb a chance to explore opportunities elsewhere. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't just sign anywhere, he landed with the Houston Texans, a team trending upward and building something that could make serious noise in 2025. It's a solid fit for Chubb, both in terms of scheme and situation. He won't be asked to carry the full load, and he'll be part of a dynamic, evolving offense that can use his experience and savvy to complement younger talent. For Chubb, it's a second chance to write a new chapter on his terms, and for Houston, it's a low-risk, high-character addition. While it hurts to see him in another uniform, it's arguably the best outcome he could have hoped for, one that gives him a shot at relevance without overextending his role. Still, for Garrett, this will take time to digest. He's a fiercely loyal guy, and that loyalty isn't just performative, it's woven into how he sees himself as a leader. In his mind, keeping Chubb wasn't just about performance, it was about identity, about maintaining the intangible. fabric that held this Browns team together during seasons of chaos and rebuilding. To see that fabric begin to unravel, even if only a thread at a time, is disorienting for a player who's given everything to this franchise. Garrett knows better than most what it took to bring pride back to the Dawg Pound, and losing a key contributor to that mission cuts deep. He'll move forward, of course. He has to. But the scars from this offseason won't fade overnight. What makes Garrett's reaction even more compelling is the honesty behind it. Too often, athletes shy away from criticizing their front office or speaking candidly about internal matters. Garrett broke that mold. He didn't throw anyone under the bus, but he also didn't sugarcoat his disappointment. That transparency, rare as it is in today's tightly controlled media landscape, resonated. It reminded fans that beneath the pads and contracts are human beings with real bonds and emotions. Garrett's words weren't about stirring controversy. They were about mourning the end of an era. And in that sense, they struck a nerve with a fan base that has shared many of the same emotional beats over the years. The Browns, meanwhile, are turning the page. With new blood in the backfield and Garrett locked in long term, they're positioning themselves for a run at the postseason, maybe even more. But questions remain. Can the new running backs match Chubb's production and presence? Can the team maintain its identity without the emotional backbone Chubb provided? These are not questions that can be answered on paper. They'll play out over the course of a long, grueling season. And through it all, Garrett will be there, eyes wide open, heart still tethered to a past that shaped him. His challenge now is to lead a team that looks different than the one he fought for. A team that's younger, maybe faster, but still in need of the same passion that's defined Garrett's career. It's moments like these that remind us how layered the NFL truly is. Behind every trade, every sign-in, every release, there are ripple effects that extend far beyond the numbers. For Garrett, this offseason wasn't just about staying in Cleveland, it was about what Cleveland meant. Chubb was a part of that. Definition. Losing him is like losing a piece of the team's collective heart. And yet that's football. It's as ruthless as it is glorious, as emotionally charged as it is calculated. Garrett's journey this offseason encapsulates all of that. The highs of a mega deal, the lows of watching a friend walk away, and the resolve to still lead, to still believe, and to still chase something bigger even when the team doesn't look quite the same. As training camp approaches, all eyes will be on how Garrett channels these emotions into performance. If history is any indicator, he'll use it as fuel, to dominate, to uplift, to inspire. That's who he's always been. And maybe, just maybe, this next chapter for the Browns, without Nick Chubb, but with Garrett still standing tall, will be the one that finally delivers on all the promise they've been building toward. Sometimes pain births greatness. And if that's the case, then Cleveland might be on the verge of something truly special. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. The NFL world is buzzing with what could be one of the most shocking moves in recent history. Rumors are swirling that Aaron Donald, the powerhouse defensive tackle who has dominated the league for years, is on the verge of joining the Cleveland Browns in a deal that could rewrite the NFL landscape. This potential blockbuster trade has fans and analysts alike scrambling to make sense of the implications. Imagine the Browns adding one of the most feared defenders in the game, a player who can single-handedly disrupt offenses to a roster already hungry for greatness. The chatter suggests this isn't just any signing. It might be a historic moment for Cleveland, a franchise desperate for a signature win and a leap into the NFL elite. Aaron Donald has been a force of nature since his rookie season, winning multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards and redefining the role of a defensive tackle. His sheer ability to pressure quarterbacks and stop the run makes him a rare commodity in the league. Now, the possibility of him leaving his longtime team and heading to Cleveland sparks all sorts of questions. Could this be the Browns' answer to finally turning the defense into a championship contender? Sources close to the negotiation hint at a massive contract and unprecedented terms that reflect Donald's stature. This is no ordinary transaction. It's being framed as a seismic shift in NFL power dynamics. The Browns have been patient, building a competitive squad around their young quarterback, and this rumored signing could be the final piece of the puzzle. Cleveland's front office is said to be aggressively pursuing top-tier talent, and landing Donald would send a clear message. This team is here to compete at the highest level. Fans in Cleveland are buzzing with excitement, imagining the impact Donald would have lining up against divisional rivals like the Steelers and Ravens. It's not just about defense, it's about changing the culture of a franchise that has struggled to find consistent success in recent years. The speculation alone is enough to set the NFL world on fire. On the flip side, there are whispers about what this means for Donald's current team. The idea of parting ways with a player of his caliber suggests some internal challenges or perhaps a shift in strategy. Could it be a mutual decision for a fresh start? Or is this a bold Cleveland move to wrestle a superstar away? Either way, the ramifications are enormous. Donald's presence on any team drastically changes how opponents prepare and game plan. The Browns, who have been searching for a defensive identity, could suddenly become a nightmare for opposing offenses. If the deal goes through, it will be dissected endlessly by experts, players, and fans alike. This potential signing also raises questions about the salary cap and how Cleveland plans to fit such a high-profile contract into their books. Reports hint that the Browns might be restructuring deals or making difficult decisions elsewhere to make room for Donald's historic contract. This is a gamble that could pay off massively if Donald performs at his usual MVP level. However, it also carries risks. Any long-term contract with a player in his position requires faith in his durability and sustained dominance. The Browns' front office appears willing to take that risk, signaling a shift in ambition that could redefine the team's trajectory for years. Fans are already debating what Donald's arrival would mean for the Browns' defense as a whole. Would his presence elevate the performance of the entire unit? Could he mentor younger players and bring a new level of professionalism to the locker room? The buzz around Cleveland has never been this intense, with social media exploding over the possibility of such a game-changing acquisition. Some even argue that this move could force other teams in the AFC North to rethink their rosters and strategies. If Donald joins Cleveland, the ripple effect will extend far beyond one franchise. It could impact the entire division and conference landscape. From a broader NFL perspective, the timing of this move is fascinating. With the league becoming increasingly offense-oriented, securing a defensive titan like Donald could be a strategic masterstroke. Analysts suggest that adding Donald might not just be about stopping opponents, but about creating a psychological edge, a statement that Cleveland is serious about contending now. It also begs the question, which team will rise to meet this new challenge? The Browns may be positioning themselves not only for immediate success, but for a long-term dynasty. The ripple effects of this rumored signing could redefine the balance of power across the league. Meanwhile, the NFL rumor mill is also buzzing about what this means for upcoming drafts and free agency moves. If Cleveland secures Donald, will they double down on building a dominant defense, or will they focus on complementing their star acquisition with more offensive weapons? This possible deal could trigger a wave of strategic adjustments across the league as teams scramble to respond. The Browns might become the team everyone targets, forcing rival front offices to rethink their approach. The sheer magnitude of this rumor has made it a hot topic, with insiders speculating that other major moves could follow if this deal materializes. Finally, the fans' reaction is arguably the most telling aspect of this entire saga. Cleveland, a city known for its passionate but often frustrated fan base, could be on the verge of a historic moment. The excitement and anticipation are palpable, with supporters dreaming of playoff runs and maybe even a Super Bowl appearance. Aaron Donald's potential move to Cleveland is more than just a trade rumor. It symbolizes hope, ambition, and a hunger for success that has long eluded the Browns. As this story develops, the NFL world watches closely, wondering if this could be the turning point in a franchise's long quest for glory. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan. Hit subscribe and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!